Yeah, beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Stay positive, hope, and keep faith. Stand strong against any odds that you face. Put away the alcohol and the drugs. Fill your time with the things you love. Addiction is tough, but it's worth the work. Treat your body what it's worth. Spread positivity, inspire all. If we stand together, we will never fall. I help others see the other sides to life. A sober life, letting go of the strife. So give me a call, I can help. 1-844-4405-HELP. Homeless shelters, hospitals, jails, wherever you are. I am Ralf Friedrichs and I am here for you. 1-844-405-HELP. Change your future, it starts today. Live life to the fullest, never skip a day. Create hope, spread positivity. Beat your addictions and negativity. Ralf Friedrichs is here for you. Call today so we can help you. 1-844-405-HELP. 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 We are here for you. Call us today.
Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of that coffin. You tried lifting the lid, but the enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from opening the lid. You think, maybe I should bang on the lid. Unsettle the dirt, maybe somebody will notice and start digging their way down towards helping me. You just think today you're going to die. Usually, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that you would possibly overdose and take something that was so preciously given to you by the Lord Jesus Christ called life away? And if that's not selfish enough, how about being more selfish and by taking your life away from the people that love and count on you most? Mother, your father, husband or your wife, children or grandchildren. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be the person that I'm reading about on these index cards that waited and waited and waited until it was too late. Reach out and give me a call at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you I will help you take your life back before your life is gone like this person I just read about. You can also text me at 631-599-0218. Folks, Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, 516-458-2741. Larry Geis is an addiction recovery coach, a life coach with over 30 years experience. www.odysseyconsultant.org. You can find him at also. Larry and I always tell people like you, it doesn't matter where you came from, it doesn't matter what you've been through or where you've been. What matters is that you're here, alive still. Unlike for this person, you're here. And you can change today for a better tomorrow. Call Larry at 516-458-2741. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy. He'll help you from your addiction to recovery, from depression to happier times, from low self-esteem to high self-esteem. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, 516-458-2741. I want to talk to you about the epidemic of heroin in this country. America's heroin epidemic represents a new phase in the war on drugs. As Catherine Q. Seeley reports, heroin deaths have surged mostly among whites in the suburbs and small towns. The parents of those who have overdosed have also successfully pushed for a more forgiving approach to addiction, a stark contrast from the response to crack, cocaine, and in the 1980s and 90s, how bad it was then. Let me just go over a few things. 39% sharp rise in heroin-related deaths. Heroin-related deaths jumped 39% from 2012 to 2013, and the longer-term trends are equally disturbing from 2002 to 2013. The rate of heroin-related overdose deaths nearly quadrupled, according to the Centers for Disease Control, otherwise known as the CDC. 90% of first-time heroin users are white. Researchers have found that prior to the 1980s, whites and non-whites were equally represented among the first-time heroin users. But that has changed as heroin use has expanded across other parts of the country. Now, nearly 90% of the people who tried heroin for the first time in the past decade were white, and a growing number are middle class or wealthy. In a July report, the CDC found significant increases in heroin use were found in the groups with historical low rates of heroin use, including women and people with private insurance and higher incomes. The gaps between men and women, lower and higher incomes, and people with Medicaid and private insurance have narrowed in the past decade. 75% of heroin addicts use prescription opiates before turning to heroin. 3 out of 4 heroin addicts started out by using prescription drugs, according to a recent survey, which is a part of a growing body of evidence that many of today's heroin users are shifting from prescription pill addiction to heroin addiction. The CDC reports that 45% of people who used heroin between 2011 and 2013 were also addicted to prescription painkillers. People who are dependent on prescription opiates are 40 times more likely to abuse the dependent and be dependent on heroin, according to the CDC. 325 opiate-related deaths just in New Hampshire last year. Opiate deaths were up 76% in New Hampshire in 2014, with 325 people dying from opiate overdose, according to the state figures. Emergency room visits from heroin have more than tripled since 2013 in New Hampshire as well. In Massachusetts, opiate deaths rose 20% in 2014 and are now up 63% over 2012. The Boston Globe reported, while Maine has seen heroin-related deaths surge as well in the past couple of years. In Vermont, Governor Peter Shumlin declared that the state to be in full-blown heroin crisis in his 2014 State of the State message. Nationally, deaths from heroin rose to 8,260 just in the year of 2013. $133 million in federal funds will combat the epidemic in response to surging heroin use. President Obama traveled this month to West Virginia to discuss his $133 million proposal to fight drug addiction by expanding access for drug treatment and prevention programs. Some law enforcement experts and African American leaders have expressed frustration with the fact that there seems to be more tolerance and sensitivity for drugs once they move into white communities. This is not a new problem, said Mark Maurer, Executive Director of Sentencing Project, which examines racial issues in the criminal justice system. Go back 100 years on race and the drug war. Look at marijuana in the 1930s. Marijuana was demonized, and the popular image of it was that it was used in racy parts of town where blacks or Mexican Americans went. That was the perception then. Then, in the 1960s, millions of largely white middle-class college students started consuming enormous quantities of marijuana, and the perception changed almost immediately. 71 new cases of HIV reported in Indiana as heroin use has soared. A raft of new HIV and hepatitis outbreaks have happened in states like Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia. In March, the Indiana Governor, Mike Pence, declared a state of an emergency over the state's HIV outbreak, with 71 cases reported between December and March in Scott County, north of Louisville. All of them linked to the use of intravenous drugs. Hepatitis C cases have been increasing in Maine, Missouri, and large areas of the Appalachia. 50% increase in Mexico's opium production last year alone. Officials in Mexico and the United States say Mexico's opium production rose an estimated 50% in 2015, thanks in part to a voracious American appetite for heroin. It is all part of a global surge. As the New York Times reported in June, the United Nations Annual Drug Report found that Afghanistan's poppy fields expanded by 36% from 2012 to 2013. Overall, globally, poppy cultivation hit its highest level since the 1930s, United Nations report found, suggesting that today's heroin epidemic will continue if we don't start bringing better awareness to it. Here, located here on Long Island, the epidemic of heroin users has gone tremendously high. And here's the sad thing. A lot of the elders cannot afford prescription drugs. It is cheaper for them to get heroin to combat their pain. Isn't that shameful? It is cheaper for a senior citizen with Medicare that they cannot get prescription drugs. So it is cheaper for them to turn to illegal drugs. What is wrong with this system, you might ask? We, all of us, need to bring awareness, not just to the seniors and to the middle-aged, but from 12 years old and up. We need to bring awareness. As much as we bring awareness to alcohol and DWIs and DUIs, we need to bring awareness to heroin use and the epidemic here. Every single person, I guarantee you, knows another person who had either themselves in their own family or someone in their outside of the family die of heroin overdose. I know I do. Let today be the first day where you start bringing awareness to heroin epidemic, not only on Long Island, but within the country and the world. Don't forget, please take off your slippers tonight, stick them under your bed tomorrow morning, get on your knees, get those slippers, and while you're on your knees, pray, ask God for guidance and forgiveness, ask God for mercy, thank God for another beautiful day that He is allowing you to stay on this earth, because for someone else out there, they don't have that opportunity. I choose to call this knee mail. While you're on your knees, have that personal conversation with the Lord. Folks, each and every one of us would love to combat our addictions to drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling. And each and every one of us could turn to a addiction recovery coach or a life coach. But here's the thing. Without your higher power, everything else fails. You need the higher power, because the higher power is 99% of your recovery. Reach to God and ask God for guidance and direction. Have God take the wheel of your life. Carrie Underwood sang it, Jesus take the wheel. Let God take the wheel of your life. Don't forget your slippers. After you pray and you did your knee mail, put your slippers on and walk with God 24/7, and may God bless you.
Have you ever prayed but never got an answer, and wondered if God was really there? Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. Will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. He always knows what's right. God hears them all. song. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. No prayer too small. God hears them all.
Yeah, change your future, starts today. Live life to the fullest, never skip a day. Create hope, spread positivity. Beat your addictions and negativity. Ralf Friedrichs is here for you. Call today so we can help you. 1-844-405-HELP. 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 We are here for you. Call us today. The show is over, but your life starts today. Taking back your life's the only way. Keep faith, stay positive, push through. Take back your life, it starts with you. Alcohol and drugs can't control your life. Let go of the negative and the strife. Ralf Friedrichs is the man guiding your way. The show is over, but your life starts today. Call Ralf Friedrichs at 1-844-405-HELP. That's 1-844-405-HELP. We hope you love the show today and tune in next time. Take back your life today show with Ralf Friedrichs. Yeah.